Welcome everyone on the Good in Motion podcast. Today I am sitting with Rachel Richards for a conversation about slowing down. So Rachel, when I heard about your services and you presented yourself, I was aware, of course, with what a photographer or a videographer and filmmaker does, their job. And slowly you explained to me that you specialize in family moments and especially family films.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, and you give an example on your website, and it's just beautiful. So I invite
Thank you.
everyone to check it out because you just understand the meaning. But for our listeners who didn't visit your website yet, how would you describe what is a family film?
Yeah. I think it's kind of a novel idea, but it's also kind of not a novel idea. I don't know about you, Juliette, but I am an 80s baby, and I have these closetfuls of VHS tapes from my childhood. I remember my grandfather walking around with a video camcorder, right? And just, picking up these little, vignettes basically of like Christmas morning and, other family get togethers and things like that. And so I have home movies that are on VHS tapes. Um, but at the same time, what I really wanted to do with family films is make them less of disjointed moments and make them more cohesive in a more cinematic way. So with the family films that I'm doing now, it's more of a storyline. It's got a beginning, it's got a middle, it's got an end, and it still gets to that very sentimental place that home movies do, whether they're VHS or otherwise. But it's a little more cinematic. It's more storied. And it just does a really good job, I think better than photos, honestly, of really telling the story of where your family is in any particular season, capturing the highlights. And it's just more heartfelt. It's more of an immersive experience. It's more visceral. It's more textural because you can hear the giggles, you can hear the dialogue happening, and you can see in real time people interacting with each other, which is why I love it so much.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also have a good amount of those home movies from my
Hmm.
parents. And I know not everybody is lucky to have those. And often it's actually a pain when your parents are just filming everything, asking for to take a pictures everywhere. And you're like, no, not again. Leave me alone. And then growing up, you're actually like, oh my God, it's so nice that we have pictures of these moments because I forgot about it. And it's also interesting that I feel most people take pictures because of social media. They just
Hmm.
snap a picture here, a video there. But just like you said, it's fragmented, and
Yes.
it's very. We look at the example you have on your website, I feel it has nothing to do with that quick video you take on the go. It's really, yeah, cinematic. It's emotional. I was emotional
Hmm.
just watching them.
Yeah,
And
same.
yeah,
That's
I
that's
mean,
when I know I'm done editing one, is when I make myself cry. So so yeah,
yes,
that's kind of the goal.
yeah, that's beautiful. And so what led you to specialize in making high quality, moving memories like these family films?
Well, I started out with family photography. That was the one of the first things that I wanted to do when I picked up a camera. I can tell you a little bit more backstory. I actually started off in food photography, believe it or not. This was around 2018. I was working very full time, like 60 plus hours a week, and a health tech job. It was very demanding. And I was also winding down a master's degree in public health. And I really so badly wanted to stay on that healthcare trajectory just because it was the only thing that I knew. But I was very, very empty inside. And I picked up a camera because I was pregnant at the same time. And I wanted to take better pictures of my daughter. I knew that going into this pregnancy. Just as an aside, I also have a son who's 10 years older than she is. And I didn't quite have the memories preserved the way that I wanted to with his childhood, because that was at a time where we didn't really have the cloud, and so if a device that you had pictures on tanked and it became a brick, then you lost your pictures, your memories. And so that happened with my son, unfortunately, and I didn't want to repeat that with my daughter. So I picked up a camera, and before she arrived, I was like, well, we got to practice with something. So, like, let's practice with food. I thought I was going to be a food blogger or a food photographer. And that was the first thing that I got into. And then I actually realized a couple years in that it was triggering some perfectionist tendencies, believe it or not, because with still life, you're trying to recreate an image or an inspiration of an image, whether you've created it in your mind or you've seen it somewhere else. And just trying to recreate that image was very frustrating of a creative experience for me. And I was thinking, well, what does make me happy? It's chasing my daughter around and whatever she's getting into, just taking pictures, whatever it is. So I leaned hard into portraits after that. And in particular, it was candids, right? Because with candids, it's more of a you get what you get and you don't throw a fit situation, which did so much better for me. And with that portraiture came this need to really see how far deep into the heart space that I could get, because I'm just built that way. I'm built like an extremely emotional, wear my heart on my sleeve kind of person, and that's what I wanted to get. I am not satisfied by just documenting how people look. I want to document how it feels to be a parent, to be like it's like the biggest love you're ever gonna experience, right? So, I wanna document the feeling behind it, and that ultimately led me to videography because, like we've already established, it's just more visceral, more dynamic, more textural. It's just got so much going for it that photos, they can do a good job, right, at getting at it, but video just takes it to a different level, and then you layer on the cinematic elements, the music, and the things that you're hearing, and the little conversations, and the framing, and you just yeah, like I said, I make myself cry every time I edit a film, which is great. And I'm known for making people cry when they watch them too.
It's so interesting how perfectionism led you there. You wanted to let go of that frustration of, yeah, trying to make perfect images, perfect setups. And actually, it generates the most emotions, the most natural emotions. It's
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very raw experience, and I think the biggest thing for me is trying to stay in the present moment. So, as an example, leading up to doing a family film, I'll sit down with the family and we'll talk about kind of like we'll have a general idea, what are we going to try and capture, right? But kids
yeah.
are unpredictable, and each and every day is different, how people are feeling, what they're interested in. And so, if we plan something to do with like the backyard and blowing bubbles, but the kid doesn't want to do that and they want to do drawing instead, like we're pivoting and we're doing the drawing. It's very child led and child centered. But being able to be present and to witness what's happening in real time and to make a shift and to capture that as authentically as purely as possible. I think that's what makes it so heartwarming when you do watch the final thing, because it is not staged at all. It is not a big production at all. It is genuinely what is happening in real time.
It must be such even a letting go lesson for your clients, the family too, because they must uh, have this idea of working with you of like, yeah, it's going to be in the backyard, just like you said. And eventually, we have to pivot because this is not working out. It's raining or whatever. So even I feel it's a lesson on the other side of letting go and be in the moment.
Absolutely. I feel like it's a therapeutic exercise for everybody involved. For me, the therapy comes from letting go of perfectionism and trying to achieve a specific outcome. And for the parents, I think it also has to do with letting go because as a parent, you have the same objectives sometimes, right? If you think about all these posed photos that we do for like a holiday card, it's like,
Yes.
okay, we want everybody to sit still and to smile and to look at the camera and be on their best behavior. And I feel like a lot of times these expectations do carry over into the photo sessions and the films that I'm making with a family. So I have to have these conversations about like, okay, just a reminder, this is completely child-led. So we can plan all we want. However, if it comes down to it, if they're not into that thing, like let's see what they're into. I promise you it will be a better experience instead of like trying to hold tight onto, what you were expecting or wanting. Like, let's just explore what actually happens. And it's really beautiful when the adults in the room are doing that because how often do we allow ourselves to let go of those expectations and just go with the flow? It's not often.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you need, as as a business owner, as the person leading this project, you need to have so much patience and clearly to have your heart in this work, in this career. So I'm curious to know, you mentioned that you worked in healthcare before. What was a turning point from working, you said 60 plus hours,
Mhm.
and then starting your own business?
Yeah, it was honestly just the complete burnout, and it wasn't just one, single instance of burnout. I'm kind of stubborn in that I will burn out and recover and then burn out again and recover and burn out again. So it was like a massive, like cannot be overstated how burnt out I was. Crispy, you know what I mean? Had no soul, nothing left. And just by sheer fact of picking up that camera, it was a turning point because it reminded me that I was a creative person. I feel like a lot of us have this experience where we're told to like shove down our creativity, right? And we're supposed to focus on science and business and all of these left-brained activities. But to be able to tap back into that after a decade or two of ignoring it completely, that was
Yeah.
extremely powerful experience for me. So, I'm glad I did it. That was the turning point, 100%.
Yeah, we can hear it. And thank you for being vulnerable about this. It sounds that's like, yeah, it was heavy. And I'm glad we're talking on the other side of it, where you've been taking the time to bounce back and explore what actually lights you up. And the fact that it became that beautiful business where you help other families slow down and reconnect maybe with their kids, and yeah,
Mhm.
just posing. I think it's like the most beautiful metamorphosis that could happen. Yeah.
I feel that way. Yeah, absolutely. As hard as it was, it's like what it's producing now is absolutely beautiful, like you said. I'm happy to do it.
And so having been burnt out and also been on the other side of all of this, did you implement new habits or maybe checkpoints with yourself to make sure that you're not going back into what burnt you out in the first place? And
Yes.
if yes, what does
Mhm.
that look like?
Absolutely. Great question. I feel like, when I first started down this path, and so just for reference, I was laid off from a director of operations job in 2023. And I kind of was not even upset about that at the time because I was like, oh, I like photography. I can do this full time, right? So I was excited in a way. And I went full steam into this as a full-time career. And I think I burnt out probably within 4 months after doing that, after making that pivot, and it was because I was applying the same workaholic mindset to entrepreneurship, and I realized very quickly, like, no, this takes something else, like, this actually involves becoming a completely different person, and so I have spent probably the last year and a half, I wanna say, working on becoming that different person. It is a complete identity shift, and so, um, I how do you become that? How do you become a whole different person? Like, you need to become one, and there's no I mean, yes, there's books written on the subject and stuff, but it's like nobody can just tell you and do it. Like, it's not magic. So, I've had
That
to
was going to be my
really
question,
Yeah.
actually. How do you do that? I
How do
want
you do
to
that?
know. Yeah.
I don't know. It involved a lot of excavating. It involved, like, everything under the sun from therapy to breath work to, journaling practices to pretty much everything that I could try on, I have, and I have kept what has served me well, and I have not kept what has not made a difference for me personally, but for each person, it's gotta be an individual sort of journey. Um but yeah, I will say it's been 100% trial and error over the past year, year and a half, and I finally am at that point now where I feel like I can say for sure I will still say I'm a recovering workaholic, but it does not plague me, as much as it used to, you know?
Yeah, and I agree with you that we have to try different tools and habits, and then it's always personal. It always depends, even on the season we're in. But I'm still curious to know, specifically for you, what habits or yeah, is it journaling maybe that has yielded the most positive results for you, or something else? I'm still curious to know specifically, if you
Yes,
don't mind sharing.
absolutely. I'm totally happy to share. I could probably write a whole book on this eventually.
And I'll
I
read it.
think
Yes.
so I think the thing if I had to say one thing in particular made the biggest difference for me, it was breath work. I had a business coach at the time who, thank God, I was connected with her during my last major crash out that I had, because breath work was one of the tools that we used to try and give my nervous system a bit of a reset. And I think that was kind of the clear night and day sort of difference that I can point to that said, "This is the thing that prompted, that initiated my identity changing ability," if you will. So breathwork was a huge tool for me, and I still use it, about every month. I'll go and I'll do a breathwork class. But as far as, like, day to day, it's my morning routine. I have gotten to a point where and I have major ADHD, like, off the charts ADHD. So this has always been a challenge for me is to do any sort of routine. However, during that period, that year and a half period, I have been working really hard at getting a morning routine in order. And it includes things like journaling. It includes things like a short, breathwork meditation duo. I can actually pull up, I have a list somewhere because, I'm going to forget it. But
Yeah.
um,
What is a breath work Oh, you mean, okay, breath work and
yes.
meditation together. I see.
Yes. So I have an app that I use called Open, and it does a little meditation, but it usually leads into the meditation with some breathing exercises, which just helps to kind of not re-trigger, but like help me remember about all of my breath work and my nervous system practices, right? And then I can go into a deeper meditation because that has primed me to do that. So, yeah, it's my morning routine. My morning routine is everything. That's like my biggest non-negotiable these days. It is the thing that helps keep me most grounded and feeling centered, and it sets the tone for my entire day. And I don't really have to worry so much about setting up all of these other rules and habits and boundaries because I'm starting my day in such an anchored way that like, I don't have to have a rule for I don't need to bring my laptop into bed anymore or anything like that. It just doesn't happen because I feel so good and so centered.
When personally I complete my morning routine, I packed so much in there that it does set me up for success for the rest of the day. And so, yeah, it does become more loose throughout the day. And then because a good morning routine starts the night before,
Mhm.
then those rules need to come back for the bedtime routine,
Yes,
I
yeah,
feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It kind of reinforces this whole thing, and I think over the course of time, right, you do become a different person, and there was definitely a part of me that, thought I was not gonna be fun anymore or, like, not cool anymore by getting this routine locked down, and I had to grieve that kind of side of me, and understand and talk to that part of me that was, like, thinking this was gonna be boring or, I'm not gonna enjoy it or I'm gonna get tired of it or I'm not gonna be able to do it even.
Mhm.
But
Like going to bed at
yes.
9 p.m.
Yes. Like, what an old
Yeah.
lady this is, like, oh my gosh, she wakes up at 5
Yes.
AM and she journals, like, that's snooze, like, this seems so
I mean, I'm the
boring.
same here, but you know what? That's why they created parties that start at 5 p.m. so you can be in bed by 9. So clearly there's a market. There are people like us out
Yes.
there. Mhm.
Yeah. But I can say, I have tried it now both ways. I've tried 0 routines and just, like, fly by the seat of my pants all of the time, and I have also tried this with routines, and even I'm getting to a point now where I can habit stack for the first time in my life, which
Nice.
is really
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
and I can say this is so much more powerful, in terms of, determining the course of my day and the trajectory of my business. If we're bringing it back to business, right? It is so powerful to get to this point. And it has not been without bruises and tears and all of that. It has been extremely hard to do it, but I can see why, a lot of business owners seek out the routines and the habits. I absolutely get it now.
Systems. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about habit stacking. Is there
Yeah.
a new habit you're maybe working on right now, either in your in your business or in your personal life?
Mm. The latest ones that I'm kind of adding in right now are supplements. I've been meeting with a functional health person to just kind of like optimize. I'm going through some perimenopause right now and it's throwing me off and I can tell. And so I'm, trying to optimize a little bit of my supplementation, my vitamins, that kind of thing. So having to add that into my morning routine. And also we got a puppy recently. And so I've been trying to walk my new
Congratulations.
dog, yeah, so, yeah, it's been great, but it's
What's his name?
so it's a girl, and her name is
Okay.
Bix, which is a character in Andor, the Star Wars TV show. If anybody is a Star Wars fan, they'll
Okay.
probably recognize that
I've
name.
never watched Star Wars. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
Vix, you said?
Bix,
Vix.
Bix. Yeah,
Yeah, Vix. Okay. All right.
yeah.
She must be so cute because puppy, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
she is so
That's a
cute. She
big
looks like a
change.
little fruit bat.
Well, it kind of answered maybe the next question because I like to use this platform to remind everyone to celebrate our wins, even if we might want to dismiss them, or once they're done, we're like, it wasn't that hard anyway. So I wanted to ask you if you had a recent win that you would like to share with us so we can just celebrate together.
Yeah, I love this. I love that you do that. It's so important. I'd say for me, it's nothing really like external, like no accolades, anything like that. It's more of an internal, just like a subjective win that I'm experiencing, and that is being on the other side of all this work that I've talked about and feeling like this is really the first time that I can say that I feel very centered and very aligned and very in tune with my intuition and pretty unshakable in business, which I think is it's a major win for a business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. And first, congratulations for this. I
Yeah,
think
thanks.
I just see success, and I mean it's a success already to be aligned and knowing what we want, I think. But I truly believe you have an amazing product. It's emotional, your purpose, your mission is so clear and powerful. And it feels like you're absolutely aligned with it. So I just see, I don't know, it just goes to the top from here, I feel.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
And well, we reached the moment to spin the wheel.
Let's do it.
Our category for the first question is physical body. Rachel, what's your favorite way to feel strong or energized in your body?
Definitely working out. I kind of have been going off of just how I feel, at the start of the day. That morning time that I've talked about is my way of checking in with how I'm feeling. What are my energy levels like? What's my capacity for the day? But I try to go off of that and get some kind of exercise in, which for me lately has been kettlebells. Those have made me feel very strong. Um, and Pilates is another thing that I really enjoy, and also rowing. If I need something a little like easier for me, rowing has been very, very helpful, but it's exercise, hands down.
And do you go to a class or do you have the material at home, maybe? How does that work?
Yeah, so the kettlebells and the rowing I do at home. The
Okay.
Pilates, I've been going to a class. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm also answering the same question. You know what? It's because I haven't been on top of my workout routine these past weeks. I've been focusing on walking because that's the only thing that I can get out of me at the moment.
Yeah.
And I do notice that my body hurts. And so each time it's a reminder of how good I feel when I work out, even if
Hmm.
it's painful to get out of bed and get started. But then I feel the reward. I just feel good the whole time after. And
Yeah.
so now that I'm not doing it, each time it's a painful reminder that I don't feel great. My back hurts, and I know it's because I don't exercise.
Hmm.
So definitely working out is a good habit to have.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for a second spin.
Sure.
Our second category is celebrate and contribute. So Rachel, what is one cause or project you dream of contributing to someday?
Well, I really have a soft spot. I have a lot of soft spots, but one of my soft spots is for um, mothers, in particular, single mothers who maybe don't have the means to document their family in the way that they want to. Either because financially it's an issue, or whatever the reason may be, and so maybe they're in transition, leaving a um, abusive situation or whatever. And so I absolutely would love to partner with, and I'm working on partnering with an organization here locally, where I can donate some sessions to mothers in that position. Just because I feel like it does not matter what kind of situation you have going on at home. Everybody wants photos and films of their kids. It's such a special time, and you don't get to repeat it. And so I would love to be able to gift, that to those moms.
That is so thoughtful. I've never heard of something like this before, and it's so obvious. Indeed, it's nothing to really compare with, but sometimes you don't really know what people in needs need, and yeah, that's just another good example. I was just thinking about, you know, when you go to the store and they ask for foods or like personal hygiene items. And then you learn that people, even in the streets, homeless people need socks. And it just, when you hear it, it's like, of course, but you need to put yourself in their shoes and to know, I don't know, to know what they're missing. I just think it's a beautiful cause, and I'm so happy you can put this in place. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll answer also this question. So, what is one cause or project you dream of contributing to someday? Hmm. So, it's a question I already answered in an other interview a few months back. And at the time, I answered wanting to participate in, one tree, like planting trees or cleaning oceans.
Yeah.
And I feel that's still ongoing. You know what? Honestly, I haven't sat down to think about it recently. And I know contributing is important. So it's my flow for today. I haven't thought about giving back these past few weeks, and I think it's a powerful exercise. So that's something I can journal about. And if you're in the
Mm-hmm.
same situation, you listeners, it's never too late. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
We have time to spin the wheel one more time.
Okay.
And our last category is relationships. What is one relationship in your life you're especially grateful for right now?
Mm. I have a lot to choose from, which I am grateful for. I think the relationship with my daughter in particular stands out just because she is such a reflection of little Rachel, when I was her age. It's giving me a lot of insight into how I was raised, for better or worse. And it's given me a lot of just extra perspective and patience. She is 6 right now, and I think just her whole life has been a reminder of why I'm slowing down the way that I am trying to slow down. So yeah, it sticks out to me.
Okay. All right. I just, I don't know. I feel like I just want to send you so much love for you and your daughter. There's something
Thank you.
special going on. So
Yeah,
I'll
love
go
her.
ahead. Yeah. I think everybody can tell. There's no doubts in that. Um, that even with your mission, it shows that you're choosing to emphasize family links and love. So that's beautiful.
What about you?
Myself, yeah, thank you. Myself, I think these days it has been more my mom. Even if we don't talk that much, I've been thinking about her more often. So she's in France, and sometimes I send her a message just because, saying her thank you for the education and that she gave, because I feel that I wasn't really, when I grew up, we had a difficult relationship, and then becoming an adult, coming to Canada, because she was born in Poland and she moved to France by herself. So I
Mhm.
kind of repeat the same step from France to
Mm,
Canada, and I'm just understanding better the difficulties of life. And yeah, I always assumed that she could have done things better. And I'm saying this now because I think she did so well, and I'm grateful for it. And even, we met at Powerhouse Women
yeah.
and chatting with other women and learning about their childhoods and how challenging these seasons have been for them. It makes me even more grateful for my education and how I was raised, because I was so lucky to have two parents who were maybe not together, but I never doubted their love and
Mhm.
their that they wanted to support me and my siblings. Um, so yeah, I think it's nice to have this privilege of growing up and having my mom around, so I can at least pay her back for the rest of our lives that we
Yeah.
spend together. So, Rachel, thank you so much for this conversation. I think I have no doubt that our listeners and people watching as well want to just see already what is a family film and learn more about your services. So, where can they find you?
Yes, so I think the best way to get in touch with me and to see what it is that I'm creating is to go to rachelrichardsphotofilm.com. That's for my family photography and videography work. And I also have a online print store where I do black and white botanical fine art prints. It's kind of a collection of photos that's basically my mindfulness and creative practices. And that is rachelrichardsfineart.com. And you can email me at either email address or contact form there. It's hello at rachelrichardsphotofilm.com or hello at rachelrichardsfineart.com.
And for people who wonder, where are you based?
I'm based in Phoenix.
Okay. And does that mean that you work exclusively with families in Arizona?
Primarily, yes, but I'm open to travel. Thankfully, I'm kind of at this phase in life where my kids are a little bit older and it's easier for me to, get up and go somewhere if I need to do that. So yeah, I'm absolutely open to travel, enjoy traveling, but primarily my home base is in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. Yeah.
I mean, I've been there 3 times now, and it's so
Yeah.
beautiful. So
Yeah.
it's a good occasion to visit as well. Well, thank you so much for being, vulnerable with the topics today. I know it's not easy. So I just feel like there's a lot of values in this conversation. And if you're listening, just take what you need. I know you can resonate with a part of this journey. So thank you again, Rachel.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.